You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.
Hey, my lean and lit lovelies. How are you? I hope you're having a good week. Welcome back to Get Lean and Lit with Lindy. We are the podcast for women over 40 who want to get strong, who want to lose fat. We want to build muscle, importantly, and we want to do it all in a way that doesn't make us want to throw our kale smoothies across the kitchen. Okay? We want to do it in a sustainable, healthy way. We are not here for gimmicks. We're not here for detox teas or anything that requires you to eat like a rabbit and pretend that you're happy about it. That's not what we're into. So today we're going to be talking about something that's quietly sabotaging a lot of women's progress. We're talking about ultra-processed food. Ooh, it's a heavy one. So hold on. Don't panic. Before you think I'm going to tell you to never eat a protein bar again or never eat a protein shake again, or that your life has to revolve around soaking lentils and churning your own butter, that is not what today's episode is about. So please sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and take a deep cleansing breath. This is a no food shaming zone. But we are going to have an honest conversation about why certain foods are so addictive, how they mess with your hunger signals, how they impact your fat loss, and what actually matters if you want to get leaner and stronger after 40. So that is what we're talking about today. So let's start with the very basics. That's how I always like to kick it off so that we're all on the same page. So what are ultra-processed foods? Let's start with that. A lot of people will assume it's just junk food like chips and cookies and Fritos and soda pop, stuff like that. That is true. Those are ultra-processed foods, but it's actually much broader than that. Ultra-processed foods are foods that are heavily manufactured, and they contain ingredients that you wouldn't normally find in a home kitchen, in a regular kitchen, ingredients that you a lot of times can't even pronounce. I'm talking about flavor enhancers, emulsifiers, stabilizers, artificial sugars, colorings, and just a long list of ingredients that read like a chemistry exam, basically. Those are all ultra-processed foods. These foods are specifically engineered to taste amazing, and they are easily overeaten, incredibly easily overeaten. They're designed for what researchers call hyperpalatability, which basically means that they're the perfect combination of fat, sugar, salt, and a texture that makes your brain go, yep, more of this, please. It really is a chemistry thing. And here's the thing, your body doesn't regulate hunger the same way when you eat ultra-processed foods as it does when you're eating whole foods. Your body processes them differently. Why? Because they're often lower in fiber. These foods are lower in protein. They digest very quickly, and ultimately they're less satisfying than whole foods. So ultimately, what does this mean? It means that you can eat a ton of calories, a lot of calories, and still be hungry, which is sad, quite frankly. And that's where fat loss gets tricky. And on this podcast, we are not here for tricky at all. We don't want tricky. We want straightforward strategies that actually work. So let's talk about why eating ultra processed foods matter more after 40, because we all know that when we were a kid or when we were in our 20s, we could eat anything and it probably wouldn't affect our physical being as much as it does later in life. So we're going to talk about why this topic is especially relevant and important for women over 40. One reason that is because at this stage of our life, muscle mass naturally declines. And I talk about this a lot. As you age, your muscle mass naturally declines. Also, your metabolism slows down slightly, your hormones shift, and recovery after workouts becomes more important than ever, which means your body benefits even more from foods that provide protein, fiber, nutrients that stabilize your energy. So ultra-processed foods tend to crowd out those beneficial foods in your diet. So if you're spending calories on chips and cookies and stuff with long lists of ingredients that you can't pronounce, they're taken away from the whole foods that you could be eating. Now, I'm not saying that ultra-processed foods are evil, because they just exist, but they are easy and everywhere. They're super convenient. And when life gets really busy, which it is for most of you guys that are listening right now, you grab what's convenient. That's human nature. So it's totally understandable that that's the behavior. But for us lovelies, it's not the best option for us. So let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was working with a client. I'm going to call her Michelle to keep her innocent. Michelle was doing everything right, quote unquote, or so she thought. And so she told me, I don't eat junk food. I eat really, really healthy. So I asked her to walk me through a typical day of eating. Her breakfast was flavored Greek yogurt with granola. Then she had a protein bar for a snack. Her lunch was a salad with bottled dressing and those little crunchy things you put on top, the onion things. Then she had another protein bar for an afternoon snack. And her dinner was a frozen, quote unquote, healthy bowl that she microwaved. Now, none of these foods are horrible individually, but when we dug deeper into her eating patterns and looked closer, almost everything she was eating was ultra processed. So she was eating a lot of added sugars, foods that were low in fiber and low in protein, and she was literally hungry all the time, always snacking, always grazing. So once we shifted things just a little bit, like we instituted real eggs instead of flavored yogurt for breakfast, chicken and veggies for lunch, fruit and cottage cheese instead of a protein bar every single day, her hunger dropped dramatically. And she lost roughly 12 pounds without lowering calories that much in a 6-month period. So was it magic? No, just less ultra-processed food and more real whole food. Okay, as Usher says, this is my confession, my true confession, because I am not above any of this myself. So I'm not saying something that I haven't experienced, because there was a period in my life when I was eating 3 protein bars a day, believe it or not. Yes, 3. So I justified it because they each had 20 grams of protein. So I was upping my protein. So obviously this made nutritional sense, right? I was a genius. But I noticed something very weird. I was always snacky and always looking for something sweet. And my energy was just kind of blah. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. So after researching nutrition and swapping out those protein bars for whole foods like eggs plus egg whites with whole grain toast in the morning, chicken salad in the afternoons, and unflavored Greek yogurt with berries as a snack. And then often I would have a fish like salmon, brown rice, and vegetables for dinner. My whole aura changed, really. I was basically eating the same calories and getting the same amount of protein. But after implementing the change to shift to more whole foods, I wasn't like prowling in the kitchen at night, starving like a raccoon, grumbling through the pantries trying to find some chips or crackers or something. It was a whole different kind of vibe in terms of my nutrition. Ultra processed foods often keep your brain wanting more, while whole foods usually signal that you're good, you're okay, you're full. So that's a huge difference to take into account. Now let's talk about the real reason ultra processed foods dominate our diets. It's ultimately convenience for everyone. It's a busy time in history. People are working multiple jobs, running around with their kids, taking care of aging parents. There's a lot going on. So as fly women over 40, we definitely stay booked and busy. Often you have your career, you have your kids, you have your spouse, all the things. So life be lifing, as they say. Nobody wants to spend hours cooking quinoa and roasting vegetables every night. Nobody. I don't even want to do that. Which brings me to my next story, quick story. So back in the day, one of my clients, I'm going to call her Jennifer, sent me a picture. She was at Costco. So she sent me a picture of her Costco haul. It included protein shakes, protein bars, protein cookies, frozen diet meals, and keto snacks. She texted me, "Look at all this healthy stuff I got," with the big smiling emoji. I was like, okay, but where are the actual foods? So we laughed about it, but it was really eye-opening for her. Her grocery cart was basically a nutrition marketing convention. So all the things, she was doing everything that basically conventional marketing tells you to eat. So once she started adding simple real foods like rotisserie chicken, which is great at Costco, frozen veggies, potatoes, eggs and fruit, all that kind of stuff, her meals got simpler, they got easier, and she felt fuller for longer. And she stopped snacking at night, which is huge for a lot of people. A lot of people, when they eat junk or ultra processed food all day, by the end of the night, they're still hungry. So they end up snacking late into the night, which hinders any type of fat loss. So you don't need to be perfect. Before you panic and throw away all of your protein bars, flush your protein powder down the toilet, let me be clear. You do not need to 100% eliminate ultra processed foods completely to gain the benefits of eating whole foods, because that's just not realistic. And honestly, it's not necessary all the time. What we want to shoot for is a better ratio. So a simple guideline that I use personally is 80% real food and 20% convenience food or fun foods. I try not to look at foods as fun foods, but you guys know what I mean, like ice cream or cookies or chips or something like that. So that's it, 80-20 rule. Real food to me is meaning protein sources like meat, fish, eggs, yogurt, tofu, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, potatoes. Don't be afraid of potatoes. The carbs in potatoes are actually good because they come with fiber, beans and nuts. And then the rest of the time, I just live my life. If I want a cookie, I have a cookie. And I'm not putting any stress behind it. So my advice is to eat the protein bar if you're in a rush. If you have no other options, that's better than driving to fast food. Just don't let it dominate your entire diet. Now let's make it practical, as I like to do. Here are a few simple swaps you can make that make a huge difference nutritionally for you. So for breakfast, instead of a packaged breakfast bar, those bars, the granola bars that are everywhere, you can eat eggs, whole grain toast, Greek yogurt and fruit. Those are all pretty easy to meal prep or get ready the night before and just have them in your refrigerator or have them in your bag that you're taking to work. For a snack, instead of a protein bar every day, you could eat some cottage cheese with fruit or a hard-boiled egg, string cheese with a couple of Triscuits, that sort of thing. For lunch, instead of frozen meals, try like eating rotisserie chicken, a bag salad, and some potatoes, for example. And none of these are gourmet foods. So I don't want you to get the idea that you have to be in the kitchen all day or really a lot. I mean, you can prep some of this stuff quickly or you can do it on the weekends or whatever, but none of this stuff takes a long time to prep. But they are very satisfying and they're nutrient dense. And they really make maintaining or losing fat so much easier. Okay, so here's the big picture. At the end of the day, ultra processed foods are really not the villain of this story. My point is they are really easy to overeat, and you can just eat them mindlessly and not even register that you're full. And when your goal is building muscle or losing fat or both, you want to feel energized. And as we age, we want foods to work for us, not against us. We don't want them to work against our hunger signals. And do you know what the really good news in all of this is? You don't have to be perfect to reap the benefits. I'm going to reemphasize that. Just eat more real food, more protein, of course, and fewer things that come in wrappers. Cool? Cool. All right, lovelies, that's all that I have for you today on this episode. If you found this episode helpful, send it to your best friend who may be living on protein bars and calling it meal prep, okay? We've all been there. And if you want realistic strategies for getting leaner, stronger, and healthier after 40, without all the diet culture and the nonsense, make sure that you follow Get Lean and Live with Lindy, this podcast, so that you don't miss an episode. You'll thank me later, trust me. And until we meet again, keep it real, keep it consistent, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.
Want to own a home, especially your first? Well then, welcome home to the Old National Bank Down Payment Assistance Program. We're here to help you from start to finish and make getting a mortgage a little easier. Plus, you may be eligible for up to $15,000 to use toward your down payment. How's that for a little easier? Everyone deserves a place to call home and a bank to help get them there. Connect with an Old National mortgage lender to learn more. Old National Bank. Get old in your new home.
When she walked in on her first day at Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas, she didn't know a soul.
I'm Zion, and I'm a second year at DFC.
A year later, and so many changes for Zion.
I love my friends here. I couldn't do anything without them. We support each other all the time.
At Doherty Family College, Zion also finds support on the academic side. Like all DFC students, Zion can count on a team committed to her success. Doherty Family College is Minnesota's affordable private college option. DFC students earn their associate's degree and then can transition to a 4-year college or university for their bachelor's. Many are students of color or first in their family to go to college.
It's nice to see people that look like you pursuing an education, wanting to succeed academically.
Zion encourages any high school student looking for a college home to do what she did and apply to Doherty Family College.
All the support you could need is here.
Ready to make your move and experience Doherty Family College for yourself? Then schedule your visit to the Minneapolis campus at dfc.stthomas.edu/visit.